Welcome to Skype Goldbridge Christmas edition, whatever. It is Skype Goldbridge. It's the Thursday before Christmas, and tonight, more than ever, I suppose, it is massively about what you want to talk about. I have got things I can tell you. I do have things I can tell you. I've got things to tell you, like Manchester United are in for a French star, which we'll talk about later. And also, I've heard that we will be getting rid of at least 4 players in January. But that's not for me to say. This is for you lot to say. And we're going to go straight to our first caller. Hopefully, let's have a quick look. There's a few calling in. It's Mark Goldbridge on Skype. Whatever you want to talk about, let's go for it. 58,000 subscribers as well. We mentioned that last night. We've done it quite comfortably, so thanks everybody for that. And drop us a like on the video. We did a ramble the other day with Robbie. A few of you have messaged me and said, can you do a Christmas Eve morning ramble with Robbie live talking United and the year that's gone by? Well, do we want us to do that? Drop us a like and maybe we can fit that in for you. But who's calling? Okay, we've got hopefully got Ash Burns on the line. Ash, can you hear me?
I can indeed, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. You?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
Good. What was it you wanted to talk about, Ash, while I get these live comments up and working?
Just 1 or 2 points, really. Maybe the first one, as you just mentioned there at the start of the preview. What players do you think will be exiting the club in January? I know we've spoken maybe about players coming in, and Victor Lindelof being probably the main one that we've been talking about at the moment, but who do you think will be leaving the club in January, maybe on a permanent deal or perhaps on a loan deal as well?
Let me have a little. Have you got any? I've just mentioned maybe 4 going. I've sort of been mentioned that I'll be amazed if we let 4 go. If I flipped it back, just give me a few seconds. Have you got anybody in your? Nobody may go, but people seem to think there's at least 1 or 2 who will. Who would you? First of all, who do you think will go, and then who would you like to go?
I think possibly we could see Memphis, either on a permanent or perhaps on a loan. Everton has been thrown about as a possible destination for him. I personally think if it was a loan deal, it'd be really beneficial for him and perhaps for us. Because we all know he's a decent player. He's got the ability. Maybe just needs to adapt his mentality a little bit. And I think with Balassi out, maybe with Everton now, they need a wide player. So that could be a possibility. And I know Martial and Rashford, I can't see it happening. Their names have been linked to West Ham. I don't think that'll happen, but you could look at Schneiderlin as well. Just the fringe players that we're not using. They need to sort of move on with their careers, and whether it be a loan or permanent, could happen.
And who would you like to see go?
Fellaini? Sorry, that was a bit too quick, that answer, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, hopefully everybody's on the same page with that one. Anybody else?
I would like to see Memphis. I wouldn't say I'd like to see him go on a permanent deal. I would like to see him maybe go on loan to Everton, because Everton, they're a decent side. They play some nice football. And as I said, with Balassi being injured, he could get a run of games, and it could benefit everyone. It could progress his development, and he could come back next year, looking to fire on all cylinders. So yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 would happen, but I can't see 4. 4's a little bit much out of our squad, I think.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, because I think you mentioned Schneiderlin. I think he may well go. The good thing about Schneiderlin, for people who aren't aware, West Brom want him, Everton want him. There's a bit of a bidding war. So we paid 24 million. They reckon we'll get about 20, 18 million, 20 million back, which is fantastic for United, because we normally sell our players for a packet of crisps, don't we?
Yeah,
what did we get for Raphael? Virtually nothing.
$1 million, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, Nani, Robin Van Persie. So, it'd be good to get some money back on that. Whether people want Schneiderlin to go or not is another matter. But I'd agree with you about Memphis with the loan thing. But if Schneiderlin goes, Schweinsteiger's somebody who gets forgotten. I'm convinced he will go. I think that was a little cameo for his hard work. So if Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger go, that's sort of 2 midfielders going. Fellaini, I don't think he will go as much as we would like. But so that would be them 3. Who else would I think is going to go? Memphis, as you've already said. I think that would be the 4 if they're going to go, and I don't think Fellaini will go. But I think Schneiderlin, Memphis and Schweinsteiger will probably go. So that's 3. Who I'd like to go, same as you, Fellaini.
Yeah.
I think I must about agree with that. Lindelof, we more or less think he's coming in. Would you like to see anybody else coming in? Do you think anybody else will come in through the door in January?
Not in January. I think we're lining up maybe some possible reinforcements in the summer transfer window. A lot has been made of Lindelof. I haven't seen that much. I've seen bits and pieces of him. What I've seen of him is quite decent. he looks a decent enough partner for Bay. And one thing I do like about him is he's good with the ball at his feet, which I think we've been missing, as I said before, with that sort of Rio Ferdinand and Vidic partnership. One was a battler, one was just classy with the ball at his feet. So maybe that'll play nicely into our hands. And only one sign I think will probably come in January. If we do sell the likes of Schweinsteiger and Schneidlin, possibly a defensive midfielder. But although I'd like to see Fosu-Mensah given a run, or especially Daley Blind, I've been saying it for ages. Give Daley Blind a chance in front of that back four to shield the defence. I think he'd be brilliant.
Yeah, you're not the only one to say that. I mean, I'm not convinced. I think he's a left back, but I think he could do a job there. But be interesting to see what happens with Blind, because he could be another player that falls into that category of Blind and Smalling, which I don't think we'll be getting rid of in January. I mean, you don't need to sell players in January. That's the whole point. But it will certainly be interesting to see what happens. Thanks for being our first caller, Ash. Very good call again. I think you're doing the podcast, hopefully again with Paul very soon.
Yeah, it should be back on next week. We've had a few issues with the website in the last week or two. But yeah, hopefully next week, especially after the Boxing Day game, we should be back up and running and getting some good debates on and some good discussion. So yeah, all download it and join in.
Have a great Christmas, mate, and I'm sure I'll speak to you afterwards.
Yeah, and yourself. Have a good one.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Cheers, Mark. Ta-ra.
Very good open to the call there. I'm going to go straight into another one. Zach MU is there and ready. So may as well take the call. Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you, pal?
All right, thanks.
Okay.
I want to talk about Rashford and how good he was last season, and he's not really influenced the squad this season, has he? He ain't had the time.
Brilliant. This is a brilliant question. Obviously, we don't know what's going to come through, but this is the sort of question we want. So yeah, Rashford. I'm quite passionate about this. Where do you sit on this? Fantastic last season, like you say. Not being used this season. Do you put that blame at Rashford's door, or do you think he's just not being used?
Well, I think it's a hard one, Matt.
I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, you could probably argue with. I mean, I don't think. I'll throw what I think. I don't think it's Rashford's fault at all. I think he's been played out of position. He's been a revelation last year, even in the Euros, even at the start of the season. Against Hull, he came on and got a goal up front. He's just not being played up front. That's what I think the problem is. Then the flip side of that coin is you've got Zlatan, who's scoring goals, but I don't think he subs Zlatan ever. I mean, I know that sounds stupid because he got the late goal against Palace, but I don't know what you think. I mean, if he's not playing up front, he's not going to perform. He's not a winger for me.
Yeah, when we see him, he's just always on the left. I think Zlatan's, as good as he is, he's a goal every game, pretty much. But I think if he was to play Rashford there for a few games, I'm sure he'd show what he did last season again. He just needs a good run, and if not, it's not really worth being at the squad. And being at United right now, even they might as well go on a loan, come back, even better.
I mean, people might call in and disagree with what we're saying here, but I sort of said it on Sunday with Alex. I do think that a loan move would be quite good for him, because I don't really want him to get loaned, but what I want him to do is play. He's ready to play. He's proved he's ready to play. He's not one of these young players who needs to take his time to get involved in the first team. He's ready to play. He could, beneficial for Manchester United would be if he was playing week in, week out for somebody like Bournemouth or something like that, banging goals in. It's better than sitting on our bench. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, that's completely true. I completely agree with that.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen to him? Do you think? I mean, we surely wouldn't be loaning him out. Do you think he will? Do you think he's just going to end up being wasted? And I mean, Zlatan's probably here for another year. We're talking about signing Griezmann. What do you think the future is for Rashford? If you're a betting man,
Mourinho's keeping him, but that's clear in it. So I think, but he will get used sometime in the future. Zlatan could get injured or anything, and so I think he's just waiting. I don't think he'll go on loan. It's not likely at all.
No, I mean, a lot of people have said, we're in trouble if Zlatan gets injured. I don't think we are. I think Rashford could come in, play up front, score goals. I think it's a bit of a... It's almost falling into the same category as Anthony Martial. You could throw them into the same thing where people are like, we're in. I think Martial and Rashford are great players. They just need to be played in their positions and given a run of games. Martial's had fits and spurts. I think if he's given game time, he will get that form back. And Rashford just needs to start up front. I think he's had one game up front this season, and that was away to Feyenoord, where as a team we were generally quite poor. But Yeah, a very, very good question there. And was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Zach?
Griezmann, if he comes to United, which he will, where we're going to play him, that's my problem right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Where would you stick him in then? I mean, presumably, where would you drop Zlatan? Would you put him in at number 10? Would you play him on the left? Would you play him on the right?
Well, for more pace, I would drop Zlatan. But he's always been a forward, hasn't he? So, no left or right for me. No, never.
Yeah. I sort of... I've not done my FIFA career for ages and I'm always getting told off about it, but I have got Griezmann in my team in the second season, and I sort of play him in behind... I think I've got Aubameyang actually, but I don't play him as the out-and-out striker. I play him in behind, but very close to that. But then that sort of... You can't do that every game, and we've seen that in games recently where people have moaned about Mata being dropped, but I think tactically it's been a good idea because you play your right side of midfielder, your left side of midfielder, your striker's Zlatan, then you've got Carrick anchoring the midfield with Pogba and Herrera box to box, so the number 10 is not always needed. So I think, I'm like you, I think Griezmann will sign, but I think again it opens up very interesting questions about where he plays and fits in perfectly with Rashford. I mean, there is that concern going into the new year as to what future Rashford might have at Manchester United, but we'll just have to wait and see. Very good call, Zach. We're on a roll tonight. Hopefully that's going to continue. Where are you calling from, pal?
Manchester.
Manchester. Brilliant. Okay, and have a good Christmas, mate. Is that your first time on?
Yeah.
Great. Brilliant debut. Enjoy your Christmas, and please do call in again.
Will do. Bye.
Cheers, pal. Thank you. Great, we're on a roll. We're definitely on a roll. So that's the sort of quality we want to keep up. Good questions, and I'm not, doesn't matter right how you speak, but get in there and give us some thoughts. Let's have a look at the live comments while we wait for another call. Mark Goldbridge is the Skype. If you want to go visual, you can do. If you want to just do voice, that's fine. Nicholas is calling in, so I'm just going to take the calls as they come in. Nicholas, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Okay, what was it you wanted to say, Nicholas?
Just with regards to the striking positions we have. So far, I think Zlatan has come through and he's been like a breath of fresh air. I feel like as soon as he came to the club, he's gotten... I don't know if you've heard, but his own back staff with his own physios and things that keep him going, and it just seems like he's a real professional. He doesn't come to this club trying to get his last final paycheck or his last whatever. He comes and he's really trying really hard, and he's also he tracks back, and he's always committed and passionate with everything that he does. And I just feel like it's an amazing fresh breath of air. And I just want to ask you, what do you think in the future? What do you think our striking options should be?
First of all, on Zlatan, I was a massive fan of his in the summer. Did the Zlatan watch after every Sweden game. I've watched him and see. I used to watch PSG, not all the time, but maybe 5 times a season, just for Zlatan. And if Zlatan didn't play, I wouldn't watch. It's just a fantastic player. And Sweden were rubbish in the Euros, but it was worth watching just to watch him. I agree with you. I think what he brings is experience, tenacity, passion. He's a model professional. Yes, he's 35, but he's fitter than Rooney, and that's no diss of Rooney. That's just the way exactly. Zlatan looks after himself. I was a little bit worried a few weeks ago because I was thinking he's got, he's a winner. He wants to win, but he's got a ticking clock in the Premier League. This might be his only season, maybe next season, but everything's starting to click into place. So I would like him to be involved because I think that sort of player is massive in the dressing room, and now he's settled. I think he can have a major influence on us. What was the second point? Sorry, I've just got lost in Zlatan.
No, it's just for the future. So what do you? So I think next year, I think he will probably play more of the. He'll step back and he'll probably play in a few games here and there, but I think he'll give experience and his wisdom towards our up and coming strikers in Martial and Rashford. And it also depends on next year what formation we're going to play. Are we going to maybe bring in Griezmann and play the false 9, or are we going to have an up and up striker? That's all he's going to do, or I don't know. What do you think will be the formation next year?
I mean, Colby Todd says there Zlatan's so passionate about winning and scoring. What I've liked having Zlatan. I mean, he does lack the pace. That's the only thing. But I like having a centre forward who will bully centre backs. We've not had that for a long, long time. Allows crosses to come into the box. So I like that, and that's what I would like to see long term. I mean, you're not going to get that with Griezmann because I think he's only about 5'9", and Rashford. Maybe Rashford could offer us that. Maybe he can bulk out a little bit. He's only 19. But that I would like us to continue that sort of attacking option. What about you? What are you thinking for next season? Because we were just talking about whether Rashford's got a future, or whether Griezmann would come in, or whether Zlatan will stay for another year.
So, like I've been asked by all my friends, would you rather have a striker within the reigns of Lukaku, or would you rather have a striker as in false nine, as in Griezmann? And I prefer the false nine, sort of what Messi used to do for Barcelona, where he's not out there as the number 9 getting the crosses in. He kind of drifts back and he holds the ball up, and then he can bring the speedy wing plays into play, and then from there, as he gives him the ball, he can get into the box and create goals that way. So I think I would rather prefer a striker in the Griezmann sort of mold than the old-fashioned bully that Lukaku would bring.
Yeah, I mean, I've been quite damning of Lukaku and Harry Kane. Good Premier League strikers, but big game bottlers as far as I'm concerned. That's just me personally. That's not the United stand.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like their control of the ball. I think it's clunky and slow. They're good in the air, but what I want as a Manchester number nine is probably different to you. I like Zlatan. If Zlatan could be 7 years younger and a yard faster, that's my ideal number 9. I look at someone like Aubameyang, well over 6 foot, good in the air, good off both feet, skillful, and good close control, can bring other people into the play. When I see Lukaku getting the ball, they say he's good at holding the ball up, and they say Kane is good at holding the ball up. Well, all I see is somebody who gets the ball into them, it's slow, they control it, and they pay off a 5-yard pass. That's not finesse, that's not agility with the ball, that's not holding the ball up per se. That's the sort of thing Fellaini can do, and as I said, he's very good at it. But I want a striker who's got a bit something about them. So we mentioned Isaac Alexander from IAK in Sweden. He may never amount to anything, but he's a young lad, 6'3", good off both feet, skillful, fast. That's the sort of number 9 I want, because I want us to be able to put ball in the box. I want us to be able to mix it up, but I want, when the number 9's got it, to have something about them. To be able to link in with the likes of Pogba and Mata and Herrera. These little short passes. It's a complete package. There might not be a player out there, but for me, it's Lukaku and certainly Harry Kane are not that sort of striker.
No, I agree 100%. I just feel like next year we don't need more youth. We need not as experienced as Zlatan, but like somewhere in between, maybe the ages of 27, 28, like you said, Aubameyang, that type of striker who will, but also not to take the reins completely and always have every single game played. Also to be able to give the chance to Rashford and Martial, if we are going that route, to bring them up in doing that sort of thing. So I feel like we just need to get a striker, Lewandowski sort of striker, but he's very difficult to obtain. But something in that mold, just so that he can be our number 1 striker, but also give the likes of Rashford and Martial the opportunities to play forward as well.
No, I agree. Fantastic call, Nicholas. Where are you calling from?
Awesome. South Africa.
I thought so. And have a good Christmas, mate.
Yeah, you too, man.
Please do call in again. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you, man. Cheers.
Thanks. Get Skyping in. It's Mark Goldbridge on Skype. I'm just going to take some of your live comments. Dan says Lukaku is underrated. I think Lukaku is a good Premier League striker, but he's a big game bottler. I'd be amazed if any of the top 4 wanted him, and Mourinho wouldn't, because he got rid of him at Chelsea. Jose2005 says Griezmann's got a fantastic header on him for a 5'5". He does. Twansibi Future says Edwin Castro. Well, he's actually training with the first team at the moment, but I think he needs a loan move. I'll go back to what's on about Rashford. I think Fosu Mensah, Rashford, Twansibi, if they're not going to play, get them out on loan. We've seen that work for so many other people in the past, where we've loaned them out and it's worked really well. And if they're not playing, you need to play. That's what I think. Let's get John on, see what he's got to say. John with his picture. I've seen John before. Bit of a dick, but will he speak? No, just a bit of a dick. I actually saw him on another show before. I was well prepared for that tonight. Bit of a dick. But let's try somebody else. Ali, really trying to get some people who've not called in before. That doesn't mean I won't take you if you have. But I'm just looking for some new callers. Let's try Rafi. Rafi, can you hear me?
Bit of a dick, but will he speak?
Rafi?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
You're live on United
Yeah,
Stand.
wait. Am I live now?
You're live, yeah? What do you want to say?
Alright, that's great. So I was thinking, maybe if we swap De Gea, swap De Gea for striker.
You having a laugh?
Well, what do you think?
What striker are you
Yeah,
going to
mate,
swap? What are you going to swap? Who are you going to swap De Gea for?
De Gea, I'm gonna change him for Rooney.
What, and put him in goal?
No, put Rooney in goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking this would be better because Rooney, he's not as good as he once was.
And where should we put De Gea? Maybe put him right back?
De Gea, obviously, he's gonna be up front, striker.
Up front, okay. So Rooney up front. Yeah, okay. And what about what do you think about Rashford? Where should we play him?
Oh, Rashford, of course, yeah. I was thinking maybe he would be good around defense area. Centre, right back.
Right back, yeah, I quite like that.
What do you think?
No,
what do you think?
I think it's worth a try. Let's give him a try.
Yeah, that's it.
What about Fellaini? That's the one I'm really intrigued about.
Exactly.
Fellaini.
I was thinking maybe Fellaini. We just send him off to Real Madrid. I'm not sure if they would buy him, but
I don't know. If they offer us 80 million, I think would we accept that, or do we want a little bit more?
I think we would accept it because Fellaini he really isn't a good player anymore. He once was, but not anymore.
I don't know. I'd be reluctant to let him go for any less than 90. But thanks for calling in, Rafi. Brilliant points.
No problem, mate.
Cheers, pal. I was playing along with it. Don't worry. Right. Okay. 1 2 3. Legal. Hello. Can you hear me? Would we accept that, or do you want a little bit more? Hello.
I think we would accept it.
Hello.
Fellaini he really isn't.
Okay, we've had a few problems. Edgar Mark, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, you're live on the United Stand. What do you want to say, pal?
I would want to talk about the Rashford issue.
Okay.
Yes, it is true that he isn't a winger, and he needs to be played more up front. So what the best thing to do is swap him for Griezmann. Instead of signing Griezmann, who would come to bench him at United, place him at number 9 for the season, and someone like Griezmann can play in behind him. Unless you'd want a better player at number 10 like Juan Mata, who I think we shouldn't sell, but you never know with Jose. So you sign Rashford, put him at you sign Griezmann, put him at number 10, Rashford ahead of him, Martial on the left, Mkhitaryan on the right, and I think we could win the league with such a squad.
Okay, so you'd play Rashford up front.
Yeah.
What about Zlatan? What are you talking? Are we going to just? Because I think that's the problem at the moment is that he won't drop Zlatan. So I agree with you. Rashford needs to play up front, but how is he going to? How does he get into the team, Marcus Rashford, with Zlatan ahead of him? Or is this something you're thinking about next season?
I'm thinking about next season because this season Zlatan looks like he's gonna play all the games, and next season we may not have Zlatan, but I hear talks of him extending his contract at United.
And so you wouldn't sign Griezmann next season?
I'd rather not.
For Rashford, to help Rashford out?
Yeah, to help Rashford out because he's youth.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. I totally agree. A very, very good call. Where you calling from, pal? Edgar?
Nairobi, Kenya.
I thought so. First, I think you're the first. Well, no, we had South Africa. That's part of Africa, obviously. But whereabouts Nairobi in Africa? Is that middle, north? I'm terrible on geography.
Middle.
I was right. First answer. Well, first time on the United Stand, is it?
Yes.
Well, very good point. Please do call in again, and thanks for calling.
Thanks, Mark.
Brilliant. It's amazing the amount of people we get calling in from all over the place. And I know the connection can drop a little bit at times, but Okay, what I want to talk about a little bit, just to feed you some ideas as you call in, because I know some of you got your own ideas anyway. But what about two up front, says Colby Todd? I think those days are gone. Someone call and then okay. This year's Zlatan 10, Rashford 9. Rashford to bench Zlatan, says Ferreira is God. Hard to turn around Griezmann if the chance comes up, says Gungshi. I totally agree with that. Griezmann is better than Rashford, says Rock My Hood. But I think that what the previous caller was saying, to be fair, a lot of people are not happy with it, is that Rashford's youth, and you know where I stand on this. You know what? If I had the choice between Twansibi and Lindelof, I'd play Twansibi. If I had the choice between Rashford and Griezmann, I would play the youth. That's what I've been brought up on. That's what United is. You can't ignore what we are. We can't turn our back on it just for success. We cannot. Otherwise, we just become City. We become Chelsea. We must. It's so important as a United fan, I feel, to grasp the youth and use it. Not totalitarian youth, not 5 or 6 of them, but it's important that 2 or 3 of them are part of the matchday squad and at least 2 of them are playing in the first team squad. So we've got to aspire to getting Rashford in the team, Fosu Mensah in the team, Twansibi in the team. Lingard isn't a first team player for me, but there we go. Let's have a look who else we can get on. Sander, just because I will get other people on, but I think I need rescuing after, not the last call, but the call before that. Couple before that, we had the Dick, and I've seen the Dick before. I was sort of expecting that a little bit tonight. But what do you want to say, pal?
Just firstly, I don't know if you can hear it, but I am ill, so just bear with me on that.
Ill for Christmas, not good.
That's brilliant, isn't it? But yeah, I just wanted to say, I hear people trying to rush Rashford into the team as if he needs to be in it now, and if he's not in it now, then he's not going to be a good player. The kid is 19, right? The guy's 19. For me, leave. It doesn't matter if he's 22. Well, he can get to 22, and then he needs to start really being in the first team regularly. These are his building years. This time last year, no idea who he was. We did not have a clue who the kid was. He broke the scene in February. So for me, I think we need to be patient. He can learn off people like Zlatan. And the problem with him going out on loan is the fact that, firstly, he's got no one to learn off. He is the main man, because I presume he'll be going to a smaller club. So he can't pick up any tips. He can't, he can't learn from anyone. People are going to be learning from him, if anything. So for me, leave him at the club 2 years, and he's at a big club. He knows what it, he can train with the best. He can be with the best, and that will hopefully mould him into, to be one of the best. So I just think we need to calm down on that situation. You know what I mean? Sorry to reiterate, but he's only 19. So that's what I think. Oh God, can't speak. I'm ill. What did you think of that, Mark?
I agree. I've got a bit of a problem with lag. I just want to ask you something because I don't know why we're lagging. Do you think we'll sign a centre defensive midfielder in January, and who would you go for? Just while I sort this out.
Well, in my opinion, I wanted him in the summer. I think Matuidi, I know he's approaching 30. I don't know if he's 30 or not. But Matuidi, for me, is the perfect partner for Pogba. I see he's good, and when I have seen him, he's played very well. But for me, it's still Matuidi. Firstly, he's French, so he'd get on with Pogba and hopefully Griezmann. And I think he's just busy the midfield and just run around and almost do a bit of a Kante job. I'm just talking about Matuidi. And almost do a bit of a Kante job and just be busy and let Pogba, relieve Pogba of all his defensive duties and let him go and just cause havoc. Because that's what Carrick is at the moment. But obviously, as we go on, we're not going to be able to have Carrick. I think Matuidi. I've seen someone said Weigl, so that is also a good point. Haven't seen too much of him though, but they're both 2 good options.
Okay. Yeah, great. Well, thanks for coming on, Sandra. I just wanted to get you on just to say a quick Merry Christmas to you. Hope you have a good Christmas, and no doubt we'll get you on next week. I think we're going to do Tuesday night. But thanks for popping on, and I hope you feel better over Christmas.
Cheers, Mark. Merry Christmas.
And you, pal. Saved me there because I needed to sort something out. I just thought I was going to throw it at Sander, but it seemed a little bit unfair. Bakayoko at Monaco, 22 years of age, just over 6 foot. Very, like I said, 22. we are linked to him slightly. I was looking today at Tillemans, Yuri Tillemans, and a few of you actually mailed me and said, I watch him regularly. I'm from Belgium. He's not all that, and his attitude's a bit like Memphis, which I found quite interesting because you don't get that sort of insight when you're not watching him week in, week out. I know a little bit about him, but not that I don't know his attitude or watch him week in, week out. And obviously, Belgians probably would, but Bakayoko is a player that Jose's apparently quite interested in. Did quite well against Spurs, so. Keep an eye out for that one in January. Could happen, but Monaco, they're still in the Champions League, aren't they? So probably not. And as Hamza said, Chelsea are also interested in Bakayoko. A few people saying get well soon to Sander. Let's try Alex, see if we can get him on. Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, Mark, can you hear me?
I can. How are you, pal?
Very good, very good. Very excited to be on the show.
Cool. What do you want to say?
There's one thing I want to touch on here more than anything else, and that's that I don't think we actually need to sign a new player this January.
Okay, controversial. You wouldn't sign anybody at all. Would you be letting people go, or are you just totally happy with the squad we've got?
I think I'm pretty happy, and I think the reason I wouldn't sign another player is like if you know yourself from playing FIFA, Football Manager, whatever it is, when you sign a new player, it's going to take maybe 4 or 5 games to integrate him into the team, and I don't think we can afford to. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous here, but I don't think we can afford to spend another 4 or 5 weeks trying to integrate new players into the team.
No need to be nervous, pal. Just speak normally. You're doing really well. I mean that is a valid point. I mean my concern with it is, I agree. It's difficult. I'm just trying to think. I remember us buying Vidic and Evra in January. That took them a long time. It took until the next season to bed in. Mata we signed in January. I just think, I personally think, and I'm sure people in the live comments are going mad about it because they love transfers, but I think the opportunity for Mourinho to, everyone keeps saying, and we've said it as well, he'll need 2 or 3 transfer windows to sort it out. I just think I wouldn't say he won't ignore it, but I think he needs to do something in it. And I think
the obvious position that needs strengthening is right back. And I mean, I'm Irish myself, so I probably would be biased wanting Seamus Coleman to be a player we would look at. But I think he'd be a natural fit. And like you say yourself as well, Mark. We haven't really had an Irish player on our side ever since. I mean, Keane was there.
O'Shea.
Gibson, he was a mug. I mean, in my opinion.
Gibson or O'Shea.
So I think it'd be good to have an Irish player in the squad. I think right back is certainly a position that needs strengthening, and then also it might free Valencia to move up the pitch a little bit, and become more of an attacking threat. Because I don't rate him as a right back whatsoever. I just don't think he's. Like when he's on the ball, he seems to spend a little bit too much time. I don't think he's got the touch or whatever it is. And also, I mean, he can't even cross the road. I mean, he's got no crossing ability, in my opinion.
No, I'd agree. Just very quickly, not being rude. Draughty Devil says, has anyone got any pies? He quite fancies a pie. But just a message to the Draughty Devil, if you're joining us late, the dick pic that you sent me yesterday did appear on the United stand. Thankfully, I was sort of accepting it. But interesting point about Valencia. I do sort of agree with you. I think he is wasted at right back. And I think whatever you do with Valencia, he's in his early 30s. You can't... Mourinho, I say it time and time again, what he can't do with defenders isn't worth writing about. I mean, he's an absolute genius. And Valencia, obviously, his problem has always been positional sense. But I would like a specialist right back. I would like Seamus Coleman. I'd lived in Ireland for 3 years, love Ireland, and I think there's a massive connection between United and Ireland that it's sad. But Seamus Coleman.
Another point here, Mark, is like we don't need to be upsetting the rhythm of our season. You can see the last 3 or 4 games, we finally actually started to come together. And I actually said it the last day. I said we beat someone 3-1 during the week. I said we're back, and it feels like we're back. So why would you go and sign the likes of Griezmann, who, by the way, I don't even think it's a good purchase for United. I'd be concerned about his lack of physicality. And we don't need another Di Maria. We don't need to spend $80-90 million on another player that's not going to really... I know he's a good player, and I know people rate him, but I don't think he's a good fit. If he's a number 10, why do we need another number 10? We have so many number 10s in the squad. We have 5 or 6 of them already. And I think that's not a position that needs strengthening. You know, I think a right back, a striker, and maybe a Carrick replacement. Although you mentioned it yourself, Pereira during the mid-season or the pre-season was very impressive in that position as well for me. So,
yeah, I agree. I think Griezmann will happen, and I think a lot of people want it to happen, and a lot of United fans would be disappointed if it didn't happen. I do understand the sort of concerns about it. He is going to cost about £80 million, but I think this is the sort of signing Manchester United want to make every summer now. I think they want to make statements, which, you know, is quite exciting. But I do agree. I think we definitely need to be looking at a Carrick replacement. I'd like a specialist right back as well. But very good points, Alex. Very good debut. I'm sure it's the first time you've been on. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And where are you calling from in Ireland?
I'm actually calling from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's
All right.
a long story, but I'm over here on the West Coast.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, have a great Christmas, pal. And I think you're the first one from Vegas, so that's brilliant. Superb.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Call in again, mate. Thank you. We've had some really good calls on today. Drawty's asking about what dick pic. He knows exactly what. It was probably him. Where did you live in Ireland, Mark? Says Jer Mooney. I lived in Malahide, just outside Dublin, for 3 years. Roy Keane is Irish. It's official. Griezmann is not good as a left winger, says T-Dog Man. Well, he's more of a striker. Just about get away with the number 10. But like I say, that, you know, Drawty's Twitter is at DrawtyDevil, Marcus. Suarez is way better than Griezmann. Yeah, but would you want Suarez at Manchester United? No. Oh, I don't care if he's the best player in the world. I wouldn't want him at Manchester United. Never in a million years. And Griezmann's strong, like Alexis Sanchez, Mark. Low centre of gravity, says top tenors. I want Griezmann. I'm not against us getting Griezmann. I like him. And George Kyle says, Jesus, put your foot in it there, Mark. Did I? I'm not aware of it. That's always the worst when I've done that. What about Auraria, the PSG right back, says O'Brien. Funnily enough, we were talking about him with Drawty yesterday. He's somebody on Manchester United's radar, but he's got this criminal charges at the moment. He couldn't even get in the country to play the Champions League game the other day. Drawty Devil, I would say it was probably around... It was about the third call, so probably somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes in. It was that person. They didn't speak. It was just a picture of a member. Subscribe to the United Stand, says Mark Goldbridge. That's not me. Don't know who it is, but please do. Let's take another call. I was just about to hit that one, and they hung up. Okay. I think I've had this person on before. I think I might have done, but Categor HD, or is it Marcus? Can you hear me? I can't even hear them anyway, so they might. I think I might have had them on before, but couldn't hear them. So let's try Cam Ski. I don't think we've heard this person before. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're live on the United Stand, pal. What did you want to say?
Hi, hello. I want to say about Griezmann. I'm not sure about this guy, and I will say why. I think that if he plays in Simeone team, and we all know what Simeone team is all about, the loyalty, all that stuff. And still, he is somehow talking about other teams, and he really acting strange. Nobody in Simeone team ever did things that this guy does. So I'm not sure that if this guy come to Manchester United, he won't do the same with us, you know, with some conflicts with Mourinho, some, I don't know, stuff like that. So I think we need someone confident, someone mature, someone who can be a man, the real Mourinho character player, you know, like Sanchez maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Alexis Sanchez would jump at the chance of signing for Manchester United. You know, it's any Arsenal player's aspiration to go and play for a big club. So that could happen, and he's probably one that I wouldn't want Ozil from Arsenal, but Sanchez would be good. Griezmann, I don't know anything about his attitude. I don't know anything about his personality, but from what I'm hearing, Mourinho wants him, and you know, Mourinho is pretty good. But you know, you're right. He has been openly flirtatious towards Manchester United for at least 8 months now. Supports the club, or his brother certainly does. Very good friends with Pogba. But having said that, you know what? Simeone is openly leaving Atletico Madrid in the summer. And you know, he's apparently shortened. He's got 2 years, but he's allowed to get out of it this summer. They reckon he's going to go to Italy, and that sort of, I would say, is the reason that Griezmann is starting to feed rumours, because that Atletico Madrid team will splinter apart when Simeone's gone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I only read it this week, but yeah, he's shortening his contract and he's off this summer, which I'd heard anyway, but officially read it the other day. So that could be the reason for it. I mean, I think whatever anybody thinks about Griezmann, I understand people's concerns, whether it's about Rashford or whatever, but I just think Griezmann, as I said last night, is a done deal to Manchester United. It ticks all the boxes. It feels a lot like Zlatan did towards the end of last season. I know it won't happen till the summer, but I really do think it will happen. Anything else you wanted to mention, Kamsky?
Well, I wanna say that Rashford on loan would be a great idea, because he have to take the taste of some other teams, some other situations, to take some experience, practice in other teams where he can play more, and then come back when he is fully mature and really become a big star.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's controversial. People say don't loan Rashford, but I don't think we are going to loan him. I think at the moment he's just using Zlatan all the time, and I would hope that if Zlatan is rested or whatever, it will be Rashford. But Rashford needs games, and that's my frustration at the moment. I need Rashford to be playing, and you know what? He could play for any Premier League club pretty much from fourth down and play week in, week out, and that would be beneficial for Manchester United to have him scoring goals. But
yeah. I agree. We need. I don't know why Mourinho don't do it, but we need to give Zlatan some rest. It's just not healthy, the fact that Mourinho never gives him a rest. It's like, I don't know. He must give him some rest. He must control him. He must make substitutions. I don't know. It's not good that he's playing all the way, but so far it appears to be good. He's playing good, but I don't know. Maybe we can play with some other formation. I mean, in the attacking line. So maybe our playing may change. It can be even faster. I don't know. We have to give a chance to our other forwards, our other attacking formations, other opportunities, possibilities, I think.
No, I totally agree. I really do agree. I think he doesn't want to ever sub Zlatan or Pogba or Carrick or Herrera, but that impacts on players who want to come on and prove themselves in them positions. Where you calling from, Kamsky?
Russia, second time.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you very much for calling, and have a good Christmas if you celebrate it.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers.
You too,
bye. All sorts tonight. We've had Nairobi, South Africa, Las Vegas, Ireland, Russia. Probably forgotten somebody, but let's get Rodney on because he's the only one calling at the moment. Rodney, can you hear me?
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I'm a bit late to the shows, but I've heard all the calls and they're quite good. So yeah.
Apart from the dick, but
yeah. Apart from the dick,
bit of comedy's all right. I'm amazed actually. We've been doing this for about a month and we haven't had any of those yet. I've been well ready and prepared for them. And the guy who said he'd put Rooney in goal for De Gea. For those who don't get sarcasm, I was playing along with that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, bizarre.
But go on, the floor's yours, Rodney. What do you want to say?
Right, first thing, I've listened to a lot about the Rashford, and for me, one of the callers more or less said what I'm going to say now. There is no need for him to be rushed. He's young. I think for him to be at United, with the calibre of the players that we've got, will benefit him. We don't need to send him out alone. He can learn loads from watching Zlatan. I'm sure that Zlatan, the way he conducts himself in training around the club, is probably the professional that many people didn't think he was. I think I said to you when I called last time, in terms of Mourinho, he's 3 years behind where he should have been in terms of us having voice. He should have been then. I think if Mourinho was at the club then, I believe Zlatan would have followed him at that point. So we would have got a Zlatan at 32, which would have been beneficial to Rashford and any other player at the club. So I think in terms of Rashford's development, he can stay with us and be a part of the squad and be a part of the learning environment and the winning environment. That's definitely moving forward. That's what I think in terms of Rashford. So there's plenty of time. And like the caller said previously, if it wasn't for a freak injury to one of our other strikers, we wouldn't have heard of Rashford. So sometimes it's all about time, but also not necessarily to rush or run away from the opportunities that currently are presented to you. And I think Rashford needs to understand, not just us fans, he needs to understand that he's in the ideal position, because I doubt very much he would have envisaged him playing in the same team as Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think for me, as another point, that it be, as much as we're talking about players that are potentially coming in, and I have total faith in, in the right calibre of players, I'm more concerned about the players that we've got in the club that aren't part of the squad, that we need to move on. Because I think the quicker we do, the quicker Mourinho will be able to build a squad that he needs with the same calibre and mindset that he's trying to put over. I mean, who would have guessed Jones and Rojo being the centre backs and actually demonstrate that they can actually be of Man United quality? And I think, again, that will come in time. And I think in terms of my last point, and it's slightly comical, Griezmann is a top quality striker, whether he's a number 10 or a number 9. Again, I think if he came to United in January or he came in the summer, he would make the club move on light years. But it's, again, players that we need to get rid of. And when we talk about number 10s, when Fellaini, and I don't really want to talk about him, but when he was purchased by Moyes, he was played as a number 10. Yeah? Played as a number 10 more or less or an advanced attacker when he was at Everton. So that's one number 10 that we need to move on, so that individuals like this, when they do come, we don't keep asking the same questions. Where's Rashford going to play? Because there'll be space for Rashford, as long as we get Deadwood that are already in the club. And, yeah, those are the points that I want to put forward tonight.
Rodney, your audio was breaking up quite a lot through there, so
right, sorry.
It's all right. What I will do is I'm going to answer them. I'll just say very quickly that the Rashford thing, I just feel he's ready. That's why I want him to be playing more. But I understand why people would say, take time and everything like that. The Deadwood, I totally do agree with you on that one. I really do. I think it's a great point. I really do. I think that he's got to get the players that he doesn't want at the club out of the club, because the longer you keep them in there, it's just time wasted. So I think we'll probably see more people going out in January than we do coming in. I don't mind if that's loans or whatever. I think ultimately they will go. I mean, somebody mentioned James Wilson. I think he came back from a loan injured. I don't really see him as a United player, to be honest. Anyway, the same as Januzaj. But yeah, very good points. I'm going to try and shove another caller in very quickly. But thanks, Rodney. Another good call. I know you've called in a few times, and do have a very good Christmas and call in again.
Likewise, sir.
Cheers. Thanks, Rodney.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I was aware of the audio, but it was making some good points, and I knew what they were that I wanted to clarify. But as George Kyle said, audio a bit rubbish, but actual points all on point. Rodriguez, James Rodriguez, a few of you are mentioning him. If we wanted James Rodriguez, as I said last night, we would get James Rodriguez. He has the same agent as Mourinho, George Mendes, and if we wanted him, we would get him. I just don't think we want him. And personally, I like him. If we got him, I'd be happy. But if we don't get him, I won't be that fussed, because it will mean that Mourinho didn't want him. And Shane says that Chelsea pulled out of a deal for him. Johan, I've got your message. Okay, you're live on the United Stand, Johan. What was it you wanted to say? If you can hear me.
Okay. You've been chasing this player. He's called Jesper Karlsson. He's Swedish, 17 years old. Plays in the Swedish top league. He's plays a bit like Ronaldo. As I said, you've been chasing him for a while, and he can play both striker, right, and on both wings. So, but if I'm not wrong, you've had scouts on the games he's played in, and a lot of Swedish football news articles type about this and stuff.
What was his name? Sorry.
Yes, Jesper Karlsson. Jesper.
Yeah.
Karlss.
Jesper Karlsson.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just having a quick look. I mean, it's not somebody that's been mentioned to me by anybody who knows anything about Manchester United. Drorty's normally very good at it, but I'm just having a quick look here. I mean, do you know anything about him?
Yeah, he plays for the team I play for. I play for the academy. He plays for the first team.
Okay. Let's have a look at him here. He's available for under £1 million. Just like a number of other major clubs. 2 years left on his contract. Yeah. Do you think he'd be a decent signing for United?
Yeah, he'd be a good utility player, but he's a bit like Rashford. He needs a bit of time to grow as a player, get a bit mature, then start games for United. I think is really good.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about United is we are, whether it's this lad or Karsdorp, who was mentioning Karsdorp. Sorry, I was calling Karsdorp at Feyenoord, right back. We mentioned Alexander Isaac. I don't know whether you know him. I think he's playing for IAK in Sweden.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot of news articles typed about him as well.
Yeah. Lindelof's only 22, so we are, the players that we're looking at are younger sort of players, which, I said this last night, it's sort of a halfway house. United have to do it youth ways. We don't want to just go and sign players, so what Mourinho seems to be doing is he wants to bring new players in, but he's bringing in young players. It's sort of a halfway house, so it works quite well. But I hadn't heard of that player. I certainly would go and do a little bit of research on him, but
yeah, you should check out his highlights on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely will do. Thanks for calling, Johan. I know that you've called in quite a while. You're over in Sweden, are you?
What?
You're in Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And how's your career going?
Decent.
Okay, do you think you're going to make it?
Yeah, of course.
How old are you?
15.
15, okay. Well, all the best, mate. Keep us updated. Call in again, and
yes.
Hopefully we'll see you at United in a few years. Are you a United fan?
No, I'm a Real Madrid fan.
No. Oh well. Have a good Christmas.
Same.
Cheers,
Bye.
pal. That's interesting. I thought, the way that the night's gone, I'd not heard of that player before, but genuine. Okay. Not many calling in now, so I'm quitting out of Skype because we're drawing towards the end of the show, and there's a few things I wanted to pick up on in the live comments. Another fantastic show, a bonus show, because we do this on a Monday at 8:30, Skype Goldbridge. Well, it's Skype United stand, really, isn't it? It's every Monday at 8:30, but Monday is Boxing Day here. We've got football, we've got a live watch along, there'll be a live match reaction, so we won't be fitting in a Skype Goldbridge on Boxing Day night because it's a bank holiday and that, but we will be doing it on the, I think we'll do it on the Tuesday night. Everyone might be a bit fed up of the turkey and everything by then, so we will do a Skype Goldbridge on Tuesday night to sort of encapsulate what the weekend is going into the transfer window. Tonight, we've obviously done a Skype Goldbridge. Tomorrow night at 8:30 is our live Manchester United versus Sunderland preview. There is a game coming up soon on Monday, so we'll preview that tomorrow night at 8:30 on Friday night, which is what we normally do for the weekend game. Friday night 8:30 preview. And then Saturday, as I was saying at the start of the video, drop us a like if you want us to do this, because I wasn't planning on doing it. I've got something planned for Christmas Day for you, and that will be going out at 3 o'clock. Hint, hint, what that's going to be. 3 o'clock on Christmas Day. What normally goes out? Well, we've got our own. But on Christmas Eve, I was planning on doing something, but a few of you have said, and I must disappoint those who are really getting into the Robbie fan club. If you don't know who Robbie is, watch last night or go to the United Ramble we did a couple of days ago. But Robbie won't be on tonight. Had a very busy day and fast asleep, so not on tonight. But a lot of you've said, Christmas Eve, can you do a Christmas Eve ramble, United Ramble, which effectively is me walking a dog around some fields talking about Manchester United. So it is Christmas Eve, it is a time for family, but I thought, you know what, I can do it. I could do this. I could get up early-ish, get everything done, and go out and take the dog for a walk, Robbie, and have a United Ramble on what I think about Manchester United at the moment, Mourinho, where we're going to be in a year's time, what I think about how we've done since August, the summer, and a few other topical things like transfers, etc. So drop a like on the video, get in the comments if you want us to do it, and I probably was thinking about doing it about 10:30 on Christmas Eve morning, taking Robbie out for a walk and doing a live stream on a country ramble on Christmas Eve, and I thought, that's actually quite a nice thing to do. So if you want us to do it, let us know. And it's been a fantastic show. I sort of came into this with a couple of ideas that some of you picked up on, but I love doing Skype Goldbridge or Skype United Stand. It is Mark Goldbridge is the Skype name, and you'll see the United Stand logo if you search on Skype. But Mad Marcus says if we get over 500 likes, we'll do the ramble. I think we will get over 500 likes, so let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's say if we get over 700. Because we normally get 500 anyway, I know we do. So if we get over 700, we'll do it. Otherwise, I'll do what I was going to do. But yeah, you make this show, you make it what it is. We just come into it. I know a lot of you have been saying a lot of other people do it. Well, I think one or two of them probably sort of tried it out before anyway, and some people will just copy it. But that's the same with the watch along. That's the same with anything. That's the same with life. I sort of take those sort of things as a compliment because it means we're doing something right if other people want to copy us and do it. And from going from a channel where everyone said we were shit and didn't want, I wouldn't watch that shit in a million years, to people copying or doing things we do, I take it as a compliment. I've got no issues, no hate with anybody, and we've been down that road in the path, and it's a path you should never go on. George Carl says Robbie and Coco in the ramble together. I'm not going to walk any cats. Not on a lead. What about new formation, Mark, says Robin. Alan Pardew's situation, Mark Kellen H. I think it's sad that Alan Pardew's been sacked just before Christmas, but I'm sure the however millions he's getting paid off will do him well. I think that's modern football. I could talk to you all night about modern football and my problems with it. But having said that, I would be a hypocrite. I wanted Van Gaal to be sacked last Christmas, so I did. And if that's how Palace fans feel, then, that's how they feel. But I think clubs like Palace get their ideas above their station. They were in an FA Cup final in May, and I know they've not won a lot of games, but what do you expect? I think, for me, Crystal Palace staying in the Premier League should be, it's nice if you finish mid-table, it's nice if you finish 8th, but if you stay in the Premier League, anything else is a bonus. And I think clubs just get ridiculous, and that's why there's hardly any managers with any tenure in the modern game anymore. I was Pardew. £5 million, says Thomas Williams. That's what I'd heard as well. I just didn't want to say it. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go and watch The Only Way is Essex Christmas Special, Part 1, and then I'm going to watch Alpha Papa, Alan Partridge, 11:05 on BBC Two. Classic film, classic Partridge. Massive fan of his. Really getting into the Christmas spirit. Watched Home Alone 2 before I came on here. But I digress. Thanks everybody for watching. Robbie will be back on Christmas Eve if we hit 750 likes. I will be back tomorrow at 8:30 with the live Manchester United v Sunderland preview. Join us for that. I hope most of you are sort of working towards breaking up for Christmas now. If you celebrate it and enjoy it at the time with your family, we're going to be on daily. Keep linking in and commenting. If you're working over Christmas or anything like that, bad luck. I've done it in the past, but no, seriously. Make the most of it. Some people have to do it. Some people do it for a good cause. But at the end of the day, we're a Manchester United fan channel. It's your channel. We do it for you. You do it for us. Hopefully, we hit 58,000 subscribers. That's absolutely brilliant. And we'll keep on. And I really am rambling, but hopefully I'll be rambling on Christmas Eve with all you. But I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Really enjoyed the show. Really good comments. Really hit the ground running with the first 2 calls. And a funny little interlude in the middle. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all very soon, and I'll see you tomorrow.